Hello, my name is Grumpy. We have a video by the one and only GolGot100. The video is called Salvage 2013 up to 2022. I don't know what I wanted to say. So anyway, let's watch this video. I wanted to do a video on this, and I guess this is the best time because like GolGot basically made the video for me, so I can just react to it. So yeah, it's low effort content, but fuck it. Fuck it. No distortion on stream. All right, nice. All right, let's watch this. I'm playing you this because I was talking about this for a couple of streams now, for a couple of years now, that like Salvage has been delayed and delayed for fucking ages, and I just never got around to like cut the video for like just for Salvage. And this is a 12-minute video, and it's fucking amazing. Let's replay it again.
Isn't an aside. It's a career with its own mechanic, story tie-ins, and universe-shaping endgames. Discover the secrets of the ancient Hadesians, locate valuable components and
Should be good
cargo,
now.
or go down in history as the first to make contact with an entirely new alien race.
The live teams after we're live.
Yeah, this is going to be great for our salvage mechanic that was added as one of the stretch goals.
That's right. That's right.
Explorers.
You know, I'm looking for. I think that's what I'm gonna play is Salvage.
You got
2014.
the salvage ship we're working on.
Oh, I think I've seen it. And now they're gonna want to know when they get to see it. So what's the answer? Soon.
And we hit $55 million this week.
That is a crazy...
So that soon, they were talking about the Reclaimer, and it was called something else before. It wasn't the Reclaimer, it was the... whatever. But it got released in 2018. That's soon for Seiji.
amount of crowdfunding.
It is a crazy amount of crowdfunding. Did you pick up your Reclaimer?
I did. I picked up a Reclaimer, a nice big ship. It's selling amazingly well. People are really into the salvage mechanic.
Randy Vasquez. He's working really closely with the concept artist who's...
Excuse me, what did he say?
Salvage mechanic ship. It's selling amazingly well. People are really into the salvage mechanic.
Okay, people are... I thought that he said that that it's working really well with the salvage mechanic. That would be just awkward.
Randy Vasquez. He's working really closely with the concept artist who's putting together the Crucible. And as we talked about before, he's working hand in hand with the salvage mechanic. So that's all coming together.
So we have claws kind of to hold things inside. We have tools and equipment all around the bay. These bays will kind of open up into space so that way stuff can come from outside.
Cool. We'll need a way to move, salvagers at a good pace of speed from point A to point B. Now, Randy's initial idea was a human catapult.
Everybody loves human catapults.
Yeah.
And this is also where a lot of good direction from management, such as Chris or Ben, also comes into play. So when we...
So 2 years after the first clip.
Release a feature or a ship thematically, for example, if we wanted to do a salvage feature, ideally...
And by the way, I thought that maybe they were delaying salvage because of one reason, and that reason is like most ships probably didn't have, but they did, like, when you shoot them and like the shields are down and you see like holes on the ships, that's like a thing that salvage is using right now, like the hull stripping is using right now. So I thought that maybe they were delaying it because of that, because they didn't have it. By 2015, they already had that mechanic. So
ideally, we want to have thematically, for example, if we wanted to do a salvage feature, ideally we want to have content for players to be able to take advantage of that. So, a salvage.
Shane Newman said, look at the experienced devs back then, all gone, replaced by babies. I mean, okay, so you can say that, but also you can say that, like, these guys didn't do much because they really didn't.
Specific ship would be a good example of releasing when we release the salvage.
And they're not all just youngsters in CEG. There's also old guys. And then whenever there's an old guy, somebody posts that like he's too old to work on a game. Like, you gotta decide, are they too young or too old?
Mechanic.
None of these things are coincidental. When we do decide to create a ship and then decide a release date for it, we need to ensure that the systems that are unique to that ship actually exist, are designed out, and are implemented from code and tech design, so that those systems are in play by the time the ship is actually created.
And we may not see that until we're focused more on the PU. Right now, we're obviously all on Squadron 42 and the ships that are involved in Squadron 42, mostly. So we're
So even back in 2016, they were saying that they were focusing on Squadron 42, by the way.
Our attention.
Because for some reason, people keep on telling me that they started focusing on Squadron 42 like a couple of years ago, and this is fucking 6 years ago. So
it's there, but when we get to just pure PU stuff, then that's really where the salvage and repair and all that stuff will be tuned to be fun.
The second set of occupations that we're going to add is going to be mining and salvage. We won't have the dedicated ships necessary for these things until sometime next year, but I'm really anxious to widen the scope of what you can do within the game. And so we're going to be adding some more labor-intensive, up-close and personal variations on these jobs. On the south,
he's obviously reading this. Like the marketing team wrote this down for him, and he's just reading it.
Salvage side, a salvage gun will allow you to strip surface materials from a ship. If you know where the most valuable areas are on the different types of ships, then you'll be able to make a pretty good living doing this.
6
the
years
next one
ago.
up would be 3.2 with repair and salvage. So we'll be able to salvage.
Now, yesterday I said that salvage was, or 2 days ago I said that salvage was supposed to be released in like 2017, 16, 17 with like 3.2, but yeah.
Repair.
And then
So
they
I would say that
released the
our cadence
reclaimer,
on-
and they were like, yeah, I mean, we're going to postpone salvage for a patch because, and the patches, just so you know, the patches weren't like quarterly patches like they are now, even though they're not anymore. But yeah, so they were like releasing 1 to 2 patches a year, and then they wanted to postpone salvage to like get it up to a standard, and they released the reclaimer, and it just like it fucking never changed up until now.
Releases, which is what you've seen in the last few releases, is probably going to be something like 2 to 3 months between releases. So just to give expectations, because I don't want to go through 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4, and everyone goes, okay, we're going to get that in 4 months.
Yeah, so this was supposed to be released in 2017.
And there's also a lot of salvage to be had in the area because of how long the military operated here, though they cleaned up a lot of their...
The writers do really nice fiction stuff, but a lot of that fiction stuff is specifically seeding what we want to do long term. So.
Now this clip is really important because yeah, he's talking about the guy that's talking about like salvage in a system. If you never watched these videos, they're like hilarious, but also like it's just like play pretend that we actually have a verse, and they're like telling us what's going to happen there, and then Chris hops in and he says that like
fiction stuff, but a lot of that fiction stuff is specifically seeding what we want to do long term. So.
And what's up with Pyro then? Because Pyro is not what it was supposed to be. It's a completely different system now. So yeah, this clip is very important.
So don't just view it as fiction. It is highlighting where the game will go.
All right. Will the outpost be salvageable?
I want him to be.
I want to as well.
Well, to me, it's basically like cleaning up extra stuff. So if somebody wants to abandon it, somebody wants to attack it, take it down, burn it, and then you go in and you salvage it, I think that should be doable.
It has a giant claw underneath that's got lasers on, and it cuts up the material and all gets sucked in through a vacuum inside, which can then get processed. It's got a drone bay at the top
This
of it.
was just like just before they released the reclaimer.
So it's got these hatches that will open out, and you just have player controlled drones that will fly out from there, which can then go to help salvage parts of the ships.
So yeah, you heard it here first. The reclaimer has drones. if you never knew it.
There's basically 5 different phases to it. There would be the hull phase, or the stripping of it. Then there's the mulching of the ship. There's item extraction. There's data extraction, and then there's possible siphoning. So whether that be air or gas, we will be focusing on the hull stripping first, and then from there, start working through.
So they're focusing on hull stripping first in 2018, 4 years ago.
Those other facets of gameplay.
Yeah, I think this is something worth mentioning. Most of these things now are reaching their tier 0 and they'll go live. And once they go live, there'll be so much to build upon that, because we're trying to keep all our systems open-ended, so there's more to come always.
For Salvage, you will locate derelicts and you'll scan it and you'll find out what metals it's made up of and how I can use this to strip it for parts.
It's the big industrial salvage ship that could.
Not a thing.
The reinforced
Not right
cargo
now.
bay,
Anyway.
long-range jump drive, tractor beams, unmanned drones, floodlights, and more. Let's check in.
And the Reclaimer will allow for...
So yeah, they released a Reclaimer with all the features, without any of the features of the Reclaimer. And like 4 years after that, we got a Reclaimer with tier 0 salvage, like the hull stripping. That is so boring and so shit that it's just like whatever, dude.
For new career and mission options with salvage mechanics planned to come online later this year.
Check out those features and others planned for Star Citizen on our live roadmap, which you can access on the RSI website. As we get closer to the end of the quarter, you'll notice many features for Alpha.
Salvage planned, and then Salvage pushed back to 3.3. That's what I was talking about.
3.1 have been completed and are now being polished, while others are nearing the end of their development stages, like the vehicles covered in ShipShape.
Yes, and one of the other ships that you saw making its way through the pipeline is
The Drake Vulture promotion will begin for all backers tomorrow, June 15th, and will be your entry point to an exciting career in the universe of salvaging.
Yeah, so they were flying on the wings of Salvage, basically, and the popularity of Salvage, and then they started selling the concept to the Vulture 4 years ago.
Then it's salvage charges to break apart the hull more. So essentially the ship cuts up the panels of the wrecks, it drags them in while processing, and then it goes into the second processing stage inside of the ship.
Is that what we're seeing right now? Are we cutting the panels? Oh no, it's tier 0, Grumpy. No, like it can be tier 0, but it's not the thing that they said it's gonna do. It should cut the fucking panels, and then like you should have this, and just like you can see it on the picture. People bought the ship because of the picture. Simple as that.
While processing, and then it
These
goes
are not the droids you're
into
looking
the second
for.
processing stage inside of the ship.
I just want to make sure that like we're realistic for the continuing professions on 3.4, 3.5.
So Salvage got moved from 3.3, or it first got moved from 3.2 to 3.3, and then moved to 3.5.
3.6, etc. So
I just saw that the selling mechanics, the selling to shops feature was supposed to happen in 3.3.
3.4, 3.5, 3.6, etc. So
but after that, you start work on salvaging, and salvaging is currently scheduled for an early 2019 release, if I remember the roadmap right now.
And whenever CAG says that in the past 4 years they're not acting like they did in the period between 2012 and 2016, you can just show him this video.
2019 release, if I remember the roadmap right now. I don't have it directly in front of me. All right, cool.
And so
So it was supposed to be released in 2019.
Included a video. It's from a couple years ago, just to kind of illustrate the concept. And basically, this is just the damage texture, which is very, the same basic tech that we're going to use to extract it. So you could think of it as.
So I thought that they didn't have this damage model on all the ships, but they did.
Used to extract it. So you could think of it as.
Space Engineers has great salvaging.
Yeah. Star Citizen, but on the roadmap for next year. So all right.
With Salvage on the roadmap for the end of the year, what do we expect the initial rollout to look like as far as gameplay goes, and what technical hurdles do we have to overcome before we
moved from 3.2 to 3.3 to 3.5 to 3.8?
Start seeing some of the systems in the Reclaimer come online.
In terms of any tech limitations on the ship stuff, I'm not sure of any. The way that
Are there any limitations? No, we can just do it. It's easy, like it's as easy as that.
I'm not sure of any.
The way that we generate these debris entities when a ship gets destroyed, it doesn't have any of...
Now I'll tell you what tech they needed actually to like do salvage. Persistence. But they never did it properly. They had the P cache and then the I cache, and both of them didn't work. So in the end, they hired Turbulent to make persistent entity streaming for them so it would work.
The pipe connections or persistent information. And
I look younger in that
collection of
press
entities,
conference.
brushes, and all sorts of things. We want those things to remain when a ship turns into a debris piece, but there's some technical limitations on why they don't.
We're going to be adding, obviously, more loops. I think next up we've got sort of fueling.
All right, so moved from 3.2 to 3.3 to 3.5 to 3.8, and now moved to 3.10.
Then it'll be salvage, more content, obviously, and then open up a bit. We'll see what happens.
Do we want to release?
Also, note, server meshing, 2019.
Do we want to release the components?
And they said by the end of the year.
First?
They also said that in 2018. So yeah.
Or do we want to, you know?
This is from a video called Road to Salvage from 2020.
Release hull scraping, you know, with the components, and say that is salvage as a whole.
It's the kind of like the first version of salvage that we're actually doing. So what we're calling it internally is it's more like hull stripping. It's a system that's been looming for a long time, and this is the starting point for it. Obviously, it expands out when we start looking at ship salvage. There'll be similar systems there where you might be able to use, you know, hull scraping lasers to take that stuff
so
off. But then there's
moved from 3.2 to 3.3 to 3.5 to 3.8 to 3.10, and then removed, and then 3.15, and then from 3.15 to 3.16, and delayed again to 3.18. Which is what we have right now. So they were working on it since 2014. And you saw what we got.
There's things like the reclaimer with the claw, and you just kind of progress from what we're doing.
Minimal viable product citizen. That's the name of the game.
Down here,
Tier
all the
0
way up to
citizen.
that. So yeah, this is a really good starting point, you know, for us to just start, you know, noodling around with, playing with.
For the very first implementation, it will be a very generic material that is just kind of like munging everything off the ship that you're taking off it, that you're stripping away. The next
Why are they
iteration
talking
actually
about the very first implementation when they had it for 3.2 and then 3 and then 5 and 8 and 15 and whatever? Come on, I'm so grumpy. Yeah, they're working on it. Yeah.
To start stripping
I'm so fucking grumpy.
Further down the line,
I'm going to show you why am I grumpy.
Obviously, we're going to build on that for the ships, which is kind of like the cutting off parts and taking those on and cutting away and using the...
Oh, by the way, then you know what happened with 318.
Like the muncher that we've got on the reclaimer, for example, that will be coming down the line as well.
Hull scraping isn't just the first version of salvage gameplay coming to Star Citizen. It's the feature necessary to finally bring the upcoming Drake Vulture to the persistent universe. Let's check it out now and see what it looks like very close to its final form.
If you really want to try something different, something new, something that hasn't been in Star Citizen before, the Vulture is going to be where you want to go.
Talking of salvage, that's one of those things that is somebody else's baby and feature, has a massive impact on our...
And then a couple of days ago, it got moved to 2023. Because we have it in the PTU, yeah, but it's not in the game. Like, it's not in the PU, so... That would be fucking 9 years of them working on salvage, so we get a tier 0.
Our ships. All of their damage and underlying damage messages were created for a damage feature that was worked on many years ago.
The ships we made several years ago, they're not necessarily going to be fully compatible with these new features we drop. Yeah. So, you know, that is tech debt.
Salvage work that necessitated all this was built off the damage system, which we introduced with the Gladius.
So a long time ago.
2015.
2016.
It was actually 2015, yeah. But also you had it. So why didn't we have salvage then? or the tier 0 of Salvage.
And that system hasn't really changed since then.
That brings us to now, and the impending release of Alpha 3.18, which will add a whole
Hype.
lot more to this 2022
With all the brass
Star
in the
Citizen
background.
highlights, including hole stripping salvage gameplay.
Fuck yeah!
While we're close, we've determined this will require a bit more time. Our current target is to open Alpha 3.18 on the PTU to all testers this week. We'll then come back strong after the holidays and work to release to the live servers in January.
Oh, it's Mike.
Why does it look so boring? It's because it is this boring.
I had the same fucking reaction.
This is
I'm gonna
watch
show you.
movie
Show it to you in a
content,
second.
You know, this is watch a movie gameplay. It's not even mining. Because
It's
mining
not even
has
mining,
more
dude.
like
And mining is also boring.
of a need to be attentive than this does. I would like to see like a way to fail. Maybe add a little bit of skill to it.
I mean, yeah, adding some skill to it would be nice. Before I share you the link, I want to show you why am I so pissed off and why am I so grumpy. It's basically the same reaction as Mike's. Maybe have some sound. Where the fuck is the sound? Oh, here. Like 1 SU per fucking reclaimer, dude. This is from the stream from a couple days ago. I'm not liking this. This is so fucking slow.
Yeah.
I am already bored with Salvage. Alright. Time to draw some penises.
Well, I've already got ideas for spreadsheets. There's
Insanely
gonna be a spreadsheet
engaging
showing how much
content.
each ship will yield if you fully
But
salvage
wait,
it.
there's more. Let me check the comments. Late night, I watched two guys. Okay, that's two guys, one reclaimer. I can understand being bored with it. It's sort of I sort of enjoy it as a cooldown period between combat. As the initial step in breaking down a ship, like in a shipbreaker, you start with hull panels. It's a good first step. And then, like DM replied with like 6 years of delay for step 1. And then there's a guy saying, you might wait a moment for some iteration before pronouncing it boring. I expect we will soon get stripping head options to increase speed, soon, of course. We have not yet seen munching or component removal. Then there are the hull chunking charges for the vulture to help with munching. And I replied with like, mate, they started working on this in 2014 and then in 2018 again. And then they were close to release in 2019, 20, 2021. And then we got this. It's fucking boring. It's just boring. It's as simple as that. It's just fucking whatever, dude. I was so excited for this. I was so excited to be a salvage guy and to like live on the reclaimer. Can't even fucking spawn my reclaimer in the PTU because it's being stored forever. But I think it got fixed actually. But whatever. Like it's just boring. Here's the link. Go subscribe to GolGot. He's fucking amazing. He always does like these videos. And if you're gonna call me not factual and whatever, disingenuous, fuck you also. But like, because I'm gonna post this on YouTube as a clip. Fuck you. And yeah, just go and watch those videos. Simple as that. Like whenever before GolGot and some people showed me star archives where you can search for everything that they said in all the videos on their channel. I'm talking about CAG. I just like talked about the shit that I saw and I didn't remember where or when I saw that. And now that I have this tool, I don't even fucking need to make the videos because GolGot is going to make them and that's it. And now you see what I was talking about for 2 years almost. And like people were calling me fucking disingenuous and speculating and all of that. But since this is going to YouTube as like as a clip. I want to thank my sponsors. Raid Shadow, no. My supporters on Patreon and on YouTube. And if you want to support me, there's Super Chat, there's the join button, there's a Patreon link in the description of the video and of the stream. And also, if you want to support me and get something in return, you can check out my merch store, also linked down in the description. And when you check out the merch store, you're going to see a bunch of funny prints on like hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, stuff like that. And just check it out. You don't need to buy anything, just like I don't know, walk around it, and yeah, you're gonna see a bunch of funny stuff, and you might want to wear something. And honestly, I think that like supporting me through there, like you're gonna get something in return, and that's like the best option for you. If you're not, if like seeing my videos, if seeing my videos is not enough for you, and watching my videos and all that for you to support me, if you want to get something more in return, the merch store. Oh, it's not on the screen anymore. So yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to make a towel when you're traveling through space. I don't know what I said, but goodbye.